in this video, we're going to be talking about Zazzle's Embosser tool. If you follow them on Instagram, you may have seen their recent reel showcasing the Embosser tool. Here it is in case you missed it. And after seeing that reel, you may have been thinking, oh, I'd like to design on some embossers and offer those in my shop. So maybe you ran to Zazzle to design your own, only to realize that you don't have access. So if we go over to the Zazzle marketplace, you can see I've typed in Embosser and there's no option to create your own. So normally if you type in a product type, for example, a throw pillow, and search it, you have the option to create your own here. Whereas with the Embosser tool, that option is not available. And you'll also notice that if you go to the product pages, as a customer, you're not able to go into the design tool to edit the design. And this is on purpose. So there are definitely some guidelines that designers must follow in order to get their Embosser tools approved. I am not privy to exactly what those regulations are, but I suspect that you need to have a black design with a transparent background or possibly a white background. It probably needs to be vectorized or a very clear PNG, and the lines need to be of a certain thickness. And I don't know exactly what else the rules would be in terms of the design regulations, but I would imagine that similar to the espedrils that we talked about in an earlier video, for this tool, when you mark it for sale, you would need to make it so that customers do not have the option to customize the design, meaning that customers can't go into the design tool to edit it because there's specific rules that they need to follow for the embosser to turn out properly, and customers aren't going to be aware of that, so they run the risk of kind of messing up the design. My guess is that Zazzle released this to a handful of designers back in late 2021, around October, November. And I'm guessing that either the designers just were struggling to follow the rules and maybe not understanding fully what the design regulations were. And so because the product needs to get manually approved by someone at Zazzle in order for it to get marked for sale, and Zazzle probably ended up getting maybe inundated with it. It ended up being too labor intensive for them, so they didn't bother rolling it out to the rest of the designer community. So what can we do about this? Well, if you really want the Embosser tool and you think that it fits well with your shop and you can explain why it fits into your shop, you may be able to request access. You may be able to email Zazzle directly and ask for access to the Embosser tool, and they may or may not grant you access. I have no idea. If it is something that you really, really want, it is worth a shot. But there are some alternatives as well. We have the round stickers that you can use to seal envelopes and put a lovely design on instead of an Embosser tool. It's not quite the same, but it is an alternative. And then the other option is the wax seal stamps. And we have two options for the wax seal stamps. So we can create stampers and customers can buy the wax and melt it and then stamp the wax on their envelopes, or we can create these wax seal stamps. So there's the stampers and the stamps. They're two separate products. They were both released last year in 2023, and I talked about them in a previous video where I went through all of the products that Zazzle released in 2023. So you can go check that out. I'll link it above. Those are really the only alternatives that I can think of for the Embosser tool. They aren't a perfect replacement, but they're still a good option if you aren't able to get access to the Embosser tool. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the Embosser tool. I've gotten a few questions about it, so I wanted to let you guys know that if you're unable to find it, it's because Zazzle never fully ended up rolling it out to the rest of us. There are specific design rules that you need to follow, and Zazzle needs to manually approve all of those designs. So that's a lot of work to roll it out to everybody, and it just clearly didn't make sense for Zazzle to do that. Let me know in the comments if you want to design on the Embosser tool, or do you think the stamps and the wax seal stamps and stampers are a good enough replacement? Otherwise, that's pretty much it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you learned something and be sure to subscribe for more Zazzle tips. Bye.